Okay.
Pray to Yahweh.
What's he ever done for me?
I don't know. Pray to Mammon.
He at least gave me the craft.
Oh no, it says live. Yeah, we're live.
Hello. Hi.
All right.
You're all very
You're on.
pretty.
It's playing
Oh.
the
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, everyone. We had technical difficulties. That happens when you put people over the age of 40 in front of computers. Technical difficulties. I just wanted to say hello to all you thankless streaming content adult millennials. Life in the retirement home here has been very hard for us at the Cruncheons these past, 2, 3, 4 years. I mean, no one ever came around to visit anymore. Used to be you'd pop in to hear stories we old folks love to tell about them video games, about our popular culture, and you might maybe just listen to me make those explicitly homoerotic jokes that you used to never get enough of, but it's grown awful quiet around here. How much time has passed, we wonder? Who knows? While you were off living your vibrant, youthful, sexy lives, Kevin went out and made a bunch of fishy friends. I assume they're his friends, but he won't tell me what they're saying. I had some kind of wild hog's midlife crisis that unfortunately did not end yet in a comically drug-fueled fugue state south of the border. And Arian tore his beard off in a fit of self-loathing. That was unexpected. Maybe. So anyways, screw you, I hear you saying. What about Robert? He's the reason we show up anyways. Well, Robert's remained Robert. But he's always been like 60 years old, so it's like no problem for him. So, but that's kind of what happens when you don't visit. All this weird shit. You say we abandoned you? Well, I fucking never. You kids and your Obama phones and your sexting and your, I have no money, so all I do is play Call of Duty on the Nintendo. Get a job. No, seriously, guys. Did we abandon everyone? Was it us? Are we the failure point in this relationship? Don't matter. People suck. Anyway, whatever. I forgot what we were on about. So what's the agenda, Kevin? Although, ironically, I have the, coincidentally, not Alanis Morissette, ironically, I have the agenda up on my screen. Transition point.
Oh, Robert just joined us. Say hello.
Hi, Robert.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hey, Doug.
We were celebrating you.
Thank you.
In a polite, friendly way. Very professional. Very professional.
How did dinner turn out? Yes? No?
Very good. You know, apple, cabbage, pork, and some nice stuff. It was good.
You know what I had? And am having? You know what I had? I had Coors Banquet and Monster Energy. And something the kids like to call super sour diesel. That's where you plug in the Snoop Dogg bit that everyone liked. You know, you drop the weed and the 420 and whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so the agenda, as we have it, is we are going to talk about our Nintendo Switch experiences. Robert, did you get a Nintendo Switch ever?
I did. I played
awesome.
the Mario XCOM and something else.
Of course.
That's right.
So you actually played the Rabbids game?
No, I played XCOM.
Okay.
You got judged, friend.
There may have been some bunnies. There may have been some Mario, but it was XCOM.
It doesn't matter. It's you don't see. You only see numbers. You only see min-max win conditions.
Hey, tell everybody how you got your Twitch. Twitch.
My Twitch.
My Twitch, yeah. Your Twitch or your Switch or whatever these young folks are calling this newfangled.
So I got my Switch by going to a GameStop and walking in and saying, "Hey, do you have a Switch?" And they're like, "Yeah, we got a Switch." And I bought the Switch and proceeded to finish my commute home. It wasn't very exciting. My life isn't very exciting. I tried to keep that.
Doug had an adventure.
Yeah, so I bought a Switch the day of. And how might one purchase a Switch on the day of, you ask yourself? I bought it on Craigslist. You can buy all sorts of things on Craigslist if you don't know. Lots of things. Lots of interesting things. And I went on Craigslist and I found a guy selling a Switch at cost. Well, cost plus Zelda. And I'm not sure how he acquired them, to be honest. But he did. And I said, you know what? I will drive up to the Best Buy outside the Linwood Mall there in northern Seattle. And I show up, and it's a Asian gentleman driving a rather beat-up-looking, indeterminate Japanese car from, I don't know, 80s or 90s.
Oh,
and I swear to God...
Did you get yours directly from Shigeru Miyamoto?
No, this guy is Shigeru Moto's degenerate uncle. In fact, he was a lot younger than... I'm trying to think of a word that isn't corpulent, but corpulent is the word I'm going to go with.
Robust.
He was robust in the way that I can't believe it's not butter is robust. Anyways, but the thing that was not that had nothing to do with it. This terrifying part was, I swear to God, the cigarette smoke that came out of his vehicle was living. It was like some sort of semi-permeable entity that just sort of floated out of his window. Yeah, it was like you touch it and my hand turned gray.
So I mean, people still smoke here?
Yeah.
I thought we all transitioned to vape as part of.
But this guy hadn't. He's not
the general King County plan.
This guy was not living the fedora hipster trash lifestyle. This guy was seriously legit. This guy probably hung out with the Chechens in Kenmore on a regular basis. And anyways, it was like essence of gaff coming out the window. That's my sole gaff joke for the evening. Tweet about that one, assholes.
So if it was essence of gaff, was it raining? And did he show up with
it was disgusting. And the box, Oh, I did not. The box itself had this patina of, I don't know what the Switch itself was fine. I played Zelda for like 10 hours, did like 9,000 shrines, and said, I'm never touching this again. And then the Switch sat for a long period of time, and then I played 105 hours of Disgaea 5, because, as I informed Arian when we were planning a show, things don't change. And now I played 20 hours of Fire Emblem Muso, and that's pretty much my Switch experience.
My Switch experience is trying to figure out why people like it. I don't know. I don't get it. I did play Zelda on the Wii U.
Did you beat it?
Yeah, I put like 50-ish hours in. I did like half the shrines, and I was just like, I want to be done with this, and then I just beat the game.
Give us a classic video game review. With graphics, sound, controls, gameplay, fun factor.
Large text you actually read.
7.8 boners out of 10. Would play again, maybe one day. I don't know. There you go.
What elicited your ennui?
I mean, what doesn't really?
That was a really stupid question.
Yeah. No,
really stupid.
I enjoyed the shrines. I was underwhelmed by the Ancient Beasts dungeons.
Yeah.
You even call them dungeons.
I think they're just a call out to the Shadow of Colossus thing the kids still love.
Yeah, fucking hate those games.
Same.
By the end of it, I was just so ready to be done with it that I, instead of like going up through Hyrule Castle, I glided in towards the north side of it and climbed up the back of it, rather than like do the dungeon.
I saw that on a playthrough.
Yeah,
I watched that on YouTube. Yeah, like the kids do.
I think that's kind of the problem. I think a lot of people have with the Zelda game is the game has so much content and so much things you can do. Eventually, you're just like, I just want to finish it, and people just need to like finish the damn game at their pace, just like you discover everything at its own pace.
Yeah, but
a lot of people had a hard time grasping that.
I want to ask why I played literally a lifetime Skyrim. Yeah, I could only get about 10 hours out of Zelda. I mean, on Zelda, in its not defense, the quirkiness shit really wore thin on me. I really have no stomach for quirkiness in games anymore. It doesn't make me laugh. It just makes me line mouth hard. It's like, okay, that's very Nintendo of you, Nintendo. And it's like, okay, that's not a pull. I did kind of want to see the environments because they were cool. I mean, the desert, the Gerudo area was pretty neat. I got about an hour there. I gave my horses really inappropriate names based on the events of Enumclaw here in Washington State. That was fun. That was fun. That was a good time. The enemies weren't terribly interesting to fight. The bosses all kind of repetitive designs. I need more, man. I'm numb. I am as as Blue Stolly says, I'm ultra numb.
Yeah, combat was by and large like the least interesting part of that game. I thought.
Breakable weapons.
Yeah, fuck.
I thought it was okay. You got to rotate through things, and you're kind of moving through stuff. It tried to keep it interesting, but the problem is that the mechanics didn't feel different. You just had different numbers behind them, and so you're just okay. You have this breakable weapon mechanic, but like, what's the actual impact on what you're doing? And it didn't feel that much.
The impact to me was that I had to have my thumb on or my finger on the L trigger all the time, and I was constantly having to move through shit. It's like I want to build a loadout, right? I don't mind building loadouts, for specific encounters. What I don't like having to do is constantly do inventory management. I hated it. That's my one knock. Even though I love Metal Gear Solid 3, my one knock against that was don't take me into menus during key gameplay moments. Right? Menus are, as in the worlds of Diablo and Grim Dawn and ARPGs, therefore you go back to town.
Yeah.
Imagine how much better it would have been if you could have had say a keyboard and you could hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yes, that would have been very nice.
Switch between weapons, like imagine that.
Yeah.
But no, you're using a stupid
Plebeian's controller. Yes.
Ugh, yuck.
Me, an intellectual, pressing one key to change my weapon loadout. You, a plebeian, holding down the L button and thumbing around with the right stick until you find something and bring to God that your selection actually takes. You weren't floating somewhere in the middle and it selects the one to the right or the left because you're old and you're palsied like me. Yeah. So I didn't. So yeah, I'm not excited for Mario Odyssey. I took a look at that and I mean, literally, I am judging this on absolute with zero qualifiers here. But I still saw that and go, oh, that looks like Sonic Adventure. Fuck that.
If it's Sonic Adventure though, like who's Big the Cat? Who
seriously.
Who am I supposed to want to fuck? That's all I need to know. Like,
well, there's the question that challenged the internet for 20 years.
Yeah. Like,
so are we shipping Mario and Bullet Bill? Is that like the ship?
I'll ship it.
Yeah,
ship it.
So.
Okay, that'll work. Like it's kind of like Big the Cat, and he certainly got the girth.
What about the chain chomp? I mean, I don't mind. I can discuss shipping for hours here because I have a 13-year-old daughter, and I've had long shipping conversations. Seriously, I'm not even joking. If you want to talk shipping, I can talk shipping. We can ship whatever.
Nah.
So I think that the little chain thing, that's like more of like a Waluigi basement fetish scene sort of thing.
Yeah, Waluigi's like the fucking weirdo in the Mario world. Like he's
I don't think he is. I think he's set up that way. I watch Mindhunter, so I'm an expert on pathologies of psychotics. And on Waluigi, he's probably just a bum, right? He's just a drunk. He's like he's nothing. If he commits some horrible atrocity, it is purely one of opportunity. No, I think if I'm going to serial killer, I mean I go with Toad, but it seems like the obvious one.
Yeah.
I still think Luigi himself.
I think Luigi's
there's something angry about that. There's a
issue.
systemic family anger behind those eyes.
The classic Luigi, flicking off and looking at it as he drives by Mario Kart. Yeah, there's deeper shit going on there.
Oh god, that those sorts of moments. They show that is straight up. That's literally crime scene footage. That is, that's premeditated shit. That is not a crime of passion. He is out to fucking kill Mario for. I don't even want to speculate on what happened in the prior Mario Brothers lives, but there's probably some weird family crap. I've watched Mindhunter. I know.
I binged that in like one day.
So did I.
Who did you say was trying to kill Mario?
Luigi.
Luigi. Yeah. Oh.
There's some family shit going down.
Yeah, I always just kind of assumed that was like the kid that Mario's mom had with their uncle or something, and just never talked about,
Yeah, so I think Luigi, was okay, like rising star with Mario for many years, and I think now it's starting. He doesn't get the benefit out of it anymore. Like he knows he's always going to be the second banana. He's peaked, and I think maybe that in combination with being middle aged and just kind of snaps.
I think you're kind of touched on something, but I think there's like a fundamental strain of narcissism that ran through that. Mario, who's always been the type A, the chipper, the outgoing one, he is the one the family always praised. He was, he is the successor to the Mario parents' legacy, where Luigi has always believed, deep down inside, he is special, right? That he's better, that he should be the star. And he has been, so he's got some weird manifestations of that pathology going on. There's like some chopped up mushrooms in those basements of those castles. Can we just replace the rest of the show with Ed Kemper talking?
Yeah, no, we can do that.
Hey, so
here's the thing: Ed Kemper looks a bit like my father-in-law, which is what's scary. Which is gonna make Christmas really uncomfortable. If I don't come back, guys. Good thing is I'm not pretty and I'm not a hitchhiker, so there's that.
So I have a question: Has anyone like messed with the eShop or whatever bullshit store front end that Nintendo's calling it that sounds like it's from 1998?
I have never done. All I've done is stick game cartridges in and play them.
Yeah, I bought some. I bought some DLC and I just entered a code, right, and then I got it.
Yeah.
I didn't know if anyone had played like Golf Story, which sounded really good actually, and I really wanted to play it, or the Switch port of Stardew Valley, or anything like that.
Yeah, I haven't, I don't have a Switch. I did buy Zelda digitally on the Wii U, and it works just fine.
Wait! The Wii U can get on the internet?
Yeah, no, it's
Oh wow, I didn't.
It can just it's measured in ecological
56K,
terms.
So it took me like 3 or 4 weeks to download Zelda, but I got it done. And yeah.
How was the Wii U version?
It was fine. There was slowdown and there were a few more jaggies apparently, but it's the same fucking game. It's fine.
You got your essential Zelda experience. So, Kevin, you've
Yes.
said very little. I hope you're not having to fidget with whatever this newfangled technology the kids use is.
I am. How do they say it? I got legit shook because I set up. I mean, I haven't felt this old in so long trying to set this shit up, and then it just bottomed out, and I knew it was gonna. Luckily we recovered or anything. But what were you gonna ask me?
You bought a Switch. You haven't told your Switch story.
Yeah, I had one for about a month. It's not an interesting story. They just happened to have one at the
interesting
at the GameStop, and this was at the height of no one had one, and I was like, well, hell yeah, I got a credit card, so I got that. I got Mario.
That's the way all good American stories these days start. Yeah, I got a credit card, and
sadly, they all end with you living under an overpass somewhere. But
that's the American dream. Get some plastic, die alone.
So I got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and that was kind of a mistake because I kind of worn that out when the household had a Wii U way back when. And I got Zelda, and like you guys, I just got kind of the opening area is great. It reminded me a lot of. It actually reminds me a lot of The Witcher with the way they start you in the small area and then everything opens up. But for me, that's where the fun kind of ended. It was very meandering. I think that game. And I didn't finish it, so maybe, I doubt it, but maybe all of a sudden it would get, nonstop action in the last part of the game. But I think that game could have benefited from them chopping off about a fourth of the landmass, and kind of compacting everything together. And I mean, it still would have felt really built.
Actual dungeons.
More actual dungeons. Yeah. I didn't like the breakable weapons thing very much. Someone on one of the message boards said something about you should have been able to take your weapons to a town like the blacksmith and spend your rupees to get them repaired, and that would give you an incentive to actually go out and get more rupees or whatever, and would have added a little gamification or whatever,
or maybe they could have had loot crates.
And you didn't hook yours up to the TV, but I hooked mine up to the TV, and I was actually surprised that how well it scaled up. I thought it was going to look kind of crappy, but it's a beautiful game, and
it is.
Again, I just don't think it's a very interesting game. I mean, it's real pretty to look at.
I got a question from who. Did any of you do the cooking shit? I mean, you had to kind of sometimes in the game, just to get through certain areas.
Yeah, I did a little bit. Like I did early on, I did more to like get more stamina before I had like a good stamina base.
Yeah,
where I could like do all the shit that I wanted to do.
You're actually giving me flashbacks here. I think I spent, of the 20 hours I spent 10 climbing surfaces.
Oh man, who the hell ever thought that rain mechanic about sliding down there? Whoever thought that was fun? They should be made for the next 6 months to sit in a room and try to climb one of those mountains when it's raining. That's it. That's all you do 8 hours all day long. That's your fucking job. And then tell me at the end of that 6 months
there's some rage going
fun.
on here. Jeez.
I agree with him. I'm on board.
Tell me at the end of that fucking 6 months that was fun. That was a fun mechanic. You know.
What's even worse is I laid in bed even while it was raining, trying to climb walls. My thumbstick pressed up because at my age I cannot handle the cognitive load of trying to figure out what else to do. And all I did was hate. I just sat there with hate in my head and hate in my heart.
Let me jump in here.
While Link pointlessly climbed the wall. There was something metaphor, I'm sure, going on there.
Let me jump in here with from time to time. There's not that many people watching, but from time to time somebody's going to post something in the chat. And McDrizzle says, "Say something funny, you hacks."
Awesome! We got our first heckler. I feel like we've been legitimized.
And earlier, Five-ish Finkel asked, "This is the podcast about furry frottage techniques, right?"
Oh yeah, actually, we'll get to that. That was on the agenda that I didn't get to finish.
Yeah.
What was the second term? What was that second word?
Frottage. It's where you rub your neithers on any surface, flesh, otherwise, you name it.
Couch.
That's frottage. It's a thing that kids do these days.
Getting off on a tangent, but following that thought, have you guys ever been in an elevator and accidentally brushed up against a woman, and we're like, oh shit, I hope she didn't think I was like trying to feel her up or whatever, because you're just so crammed in there or whatever.
No. I don't like touching people.
What do you do? Climb up the wall and perch on the ceiling?
I develop elaborate mental strategies. Literally, I create deterministic states in my head where I will not need to actually go into the elevator.
Yeah, like
I don't touch people.
If the elevator has this much space and okay, no, just short circuits. Like, okay, I will wait for the next elevator, or I will take the stairs. Like, I can't jump into an elevator that's that crowded.
That's right. It's Spurg privilege.
I will literally take the stairs up 2 flights, and then I'll take like the next 20 on an elevator from the 3rd floor instead of the 1st, right? And hope that it's better. Like I will literally not get in a crowded elevator.
I have no desire to share immediate physical space with another human being. And my coworkers know this, so they take real relish in touching me.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I can tell you a story about that tomorrow at work, Robert.
Notice me, senpai, Jonathan Garrett says. I've noticed you. Great Rambler.
I see you.
Man. So you guys really do that? Like, I'll get in there, but I'm always worried that one of two things is going to happen in an elevator. I'm going to fart, or somebody else is going to fart. So.
Oh man, there's nothing wrong with farting in an elevator.
Do you know the old classic Berkeley experiment? This is for you, Kevin. There's an experiment that I believe the University of Berkeley conducted, where they would have people go into the elevator and face directly at the wall, and people would lose their shit.
That. Yeah, you turn around and face like the rear of the elevator. And like people can't, like they don't process.
They can't even, as they say.
So
do that.
The youth of today says. But
I mean, I'd be freaked out too. I'm pretty sure their head would rotate 360, like Samara in The Ring or something. And, that's just jacked up. That's what watching Korean horror movies has taught me. Is when you see a little kid facing the wall in the elevator, shit's gonna get fucked up.
Yeah, I buy that.
If there's just a kid standing in the elevator, shit's gonna be messed up because no kid willingly stands in an elevator for fun. Well, no, that's not true. I could probably see my own kid standing in an elevator for fun. So. Yeah,
but your kid's an outlier. Let's be real.
Yeah, she's not of this earth. The rest of the agenda was Kevin wanted to talk about Battle Royale games, and I figured since I spend a fair amount of time playing mobile games, because happened to me.
Judging.
Yeah, and again, I think I watch more games on YouTube, and not even games people care about. Although I did watch The Evil Within 2 because there's no way in hell I'd play that game. Not because it's scary, because I find those games have really tedious controls that just make me mad.
Yeah.
Uh,
My favorite
but I
is
do
like,
want to see all the gore and the jump scares and the spooky
my favorite
bosses.
is like people try to defend the shitty controls. It's like
It builds tension.
yeah, it's like no, it's just bad. It's what
Look,
it is.
yeah, all I want to see is I want to see what textures that Korean asset farm has produced. I want to see them with all shader models applied. I want to go, ooh, that's pretty. Ooh, that's pretty. Ooh, that's pretty. Ooh, I wish I'd stayed in graphics so I could, approximate that level of competence.
Right. You're not even
failure.
you're not even at the content tourist part. You're actually at the I just want to see discrete parts on the experience. So
Yep.
that's even crazier. It's not even, you're not even like taking the whole integral. You're just like taking Riemann sums and the little bits and pieces.
Utterly
Crazy.
passive consumption. Gaming tourism, right? Which is what I used to be. After at that one point, I was a hardcore gamer, and then I became a poser gamer, and then I became a gaming tourist, and now I'm just sitting there passively having content pumped into me via digital feeding tubes, where I just kind of lay in there and go, "Ooh, I wonder what that Amiga game looked like from back in the day I couldn't finish. Oh, that's what it is, huh? Oh, it's 11 o'clock, bedtime." Yeah, we also have the discussion of the EA Visceral game shenanigans, which I only really about today because someone linked something on the Facebook, and I guess we can talk about YouTube celebrities just because I don't know shit about them, but my kid knows a tremendous amount about them because that's the new Saturday morning cartoon. That's literally the all-day, 24/7 cart equivalent. And then we have an Indefensible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kevin, you are a huge, tremendous advocate of the battle royale. Explain the battle royale games for the rest of us.
Okay, well, they call them battle royale games because, of course, because of the movie. Generally, these games run where you get dropped onto an island. You don't have weapons or anything. You have to pick up your weapons, and the last person. Or some games have duos. You can play as a pair or a squad, 4 players. The last of those left standing is the winner. So
can I interject something here and I'll shut the fuck up? I thought when you said battle royale games, I thought they were like those Lords Mobile and that shit everyone plays.
No. These are.
I don't know why I thought that.
These are like
God.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and Fortnite.
Oh fuck! I'm retarded.
Fortnite added a battle royale. Yeah. What were you gonna say, Robert?
Oh, I see. I thought they were like Lords Mobile, or those games where you build little castles. I don't know. Battle Royale looks like something you'd see, in the iPhone store. It's a Troy pick of the week, and it's got some goofy looking picture of a large-jawed knight, and you're like, "Ooh, Battle Royale, the ultimate and mobile experience. Invite your friends."
Well, in Fortnite, you can build a castle because it carries over the building part from the cooperative.
Yeah, but that's a real game.
Yeah.
They're all what you're talking about are real games, is what I'm saying. You're talking about real games. You're not talking about the you ran out of stamina, buy 10 more magic jade stones. And you can build
These games, like Fortnite hasn't implemented it yet, but in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, I'll just call it Battlegrounds from now on.
Call it PUBG.
It's all cosmetic stuff. I want to say, like I don't have it on PC because I don't have a PC that would even run it right now. But it's coming to Xbox, and I wanted to pick it up. It's going to be $30, so it sounds pretty good. I've been watching a lot of streams on it. There's a character on YouTube and Twitch, Dr. Disrespect, and that guy trips me out. He's pretty funny. He wears like a mullet type wig and the sunglasses.
Yeah, I've seen some like clips of that guy because Twitch sometimes posts some things on Facebook with some of his clips, and wow, that guy seems completely offensive.
They seem completely disrespectful. Do you think he'd have a PhD in disrespect? From the sounds of it,
he used to be a dev.
I think it might be like a Derek Smart PhD, right?
Oh, I gotta say, this is the best Derek Smart joke of all time. Someone said Chris Roberts. It's the second Coke machine that Derek Smart's beat up.
But he's got like a wrestling villain character that he plays on it. And in real life, the guy's supposedly super nice, and he was a dev on one of the CODs, the past couple of CODs or whatever. But he makes a lot of money, man. When I'm watching a stream, it's forever somebody's joining his little club or whatever and paying money and subscribing and stuff. But
so
it just looks fun. You know, it's right up my alley. Matches, if they're anything like the Fortnite Battle Royale, they last about 20 minutes max, and that's if you live. You don't have to like be the best. The trick is people always jump out of these. Both of these games have a similar mechanic where you're on a bus or a plane or something, and then you jump out and you parachute down, and you kind of choose where you land on the island, and then you gather up your weapons and stuff like that. Lots of people will jump in the same area, and that's like you'll see it go from 100 players to 50 within just a few minutes because everybody jumped in the same area. And the object isn't to kill everyone. The object is to stay alive. I got to 4th place, and that's as high as I've gotten because I'm old. And I was satisfied with that. I was like 4th place, hell yeah.
Was your strategy basically just run away?
No, my strategy was to stay on the outskirts, and you've got each of these have a moving area that shrinks as time goes on, and if you're outside that area, it'll do damage to you until you die. And I stayed on the outskirts and just walked, and I didn't fire a single shot and then got killed, but I was like really proud of that though because I got 4th place.
Right. I think the big thing about those games strategy wise is that you always want to like try to be on that outskirts, just because it's so much harder to get flanked.
Yeah, I was going to say, from a basic geometry perspective, right? And
it's really hard to keep full situational awareness. And I think that's one of the things that I think people really enjoy about the genre is that situational awareness and the number of crazy ways things can happen, like giant maps, and combined with the timing of the map shrinkage, really makes every game feel really, really, really different. And it's the same map, but you wind up having just different permutations of things. And I'm actually kind of excited to see where the genre develops as they start to add, other trappings like, random loot, different behaviors, modifiers, and all sorts of crazy once they experiment more. Okay, great. I try to do a nice analysis and you just rip one.
Oh man, and everybody's
that's the Cruncheons, right?
Hashtag classic Doug.
Everybody's gonna put one of these modes.
ZFG.
Everybody's gonna put one of these modes in their games because they've got like 2 million active players on Battlegrounds. That's nuts, and it's only on PC. It's nowhere else yet.
It really resonated with the Asian market, much like League of Legends did, and so I'm a little hesitant to say that everyone's gonna have the same kind of success with it, because a lot of times these games like really are about the game and not the genre in that market. But it'll be interesting to see how people put their own separate spin on it and how long it takes for the genre to saturate so much that people will start doing this and won't actually get them anywhere.
I'm just waiting until UE4 hits a little more saturation in China and they create the mobile version. You can spend 200 happy rubies or $49.99 to expand the perimeter again, or get yourself a random loot crate in the battle.
Yeah. Hashtag microtransactions.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of game publishers kicking themselves in the ass over this. Like everybody's clamoring to get a battle royale mode put into something like Battlefield or the new Ghost Recon game or the Division or whatever. And I'd imagine that there are plans for at least a couple of those to update and offer that kind of mode. I've only played Fortnite. I thought it was pretty fun. Again, it appeals to quick matches. When you get killed, you don't have to stay there. You can stay there and watch the person that killed you, and then when they get killed, the camera switches to the person that killed them. And I've done that before, and that was kind of interesting to watch the progression to the winner.
The circle of strife.
Yeah. Or you can just leave and join another game. So it's quick in and out gameplay, and it's kind of pure gameplay too. There's nothing. I mean, you jump in and you're either running or shooting or formulating your strategy. And in Fortnite, it adds a different layer to it because it takes the building parts of the. There's a co-op part of the game where it's kind of horde mode, building and defending your forts or whatever. Well, they take the build mode from that and put that in the battle royale mode, and you'll see these people doing strategies like towards the end of the game, building their towers that they can snipe down from and then jump down into the little hole or whatever and hide. And it's kind of a neat game. I do wanna Jonathan Garrett says 17 million copies sold for
Jesus.
Battlegrounds. That's
Yeah.
a lot. And $30 a pop. So right price, right time. And it does
Fortnite's
have a
doing
hook,
well,
man.
too.
It does have a hook. There's a user on the message board. Headwalk said that it reminded him a lot of early Battlefield with the jank and the jumping into vehicles and stuff like that.
Yep.
Fortnite doesn't have vehicles, but in Battlegrounds you can all pile in.
$29.99.
You can all pile into your Jeep. And the craziest thing that I've seen is this guy was being sniped at, and he called to his buddy, and his buddy was in a vehicle, and his buddy hit a slope and did this crazy jump, landed on top of the building where the guys were sniping his partner, and then killed them when he jumped out of the car. And I thought that's the kind of stuff that you just don't see in a whole lot of games nowadays, and that's what's appealing to me about them.
Word. Yeah. I can't get into first person games anymore. I'm old and lame. I don't know what my problem is.
No, you can do third person. Yeah, Fortnite's straight third person, but Battlegrounds has servers you can go on for first person or third person.
I just can't get into games with other human beings.
Yeah, I like one player games, but they're going the way of the dodo.
Yeah, no doubt. The AAA, The Witcher 3, in my mind, was the last true great gasp of single player gaming.
Maybe Cyberpunk will have it. I don't know.
So, is the issue here single player gaming, or is the issue here single player gaming really doesn't lend well to maintaining an engaged user base for your game? And without an engaged user base, it's really hard to get a longer tail and have a product that lasts for 2-3 years, and then do another.
I don't fault it. I'm over it. Yeah, I don't fault it. As revenue models go, it's self-sustaining and can last for years, right?
Yeah.
If
And
if I were in the business, if I just graduated, Kappa Gamma Omega or whatever, get a job at EA, I'd be like, hell yeah, that's the right biz. As a loser, I like having my single player game where the entire system state is largely revolves around me.
Yeah, no,
those aren't going anywhere.
They're not making AAA ones, and now they're visual novel pixel graphics.
Yeah.
No, I mean you can go and play something I'm gonna beat into this a Teleair game or something like that, and you get a pretty good experience. It's robust. It's single player, and you're in and out and done.
It's the 10th. It's the 12th. It's the 12th installment of the series that hasn't significantly evolved. It's
that's fine.
I have a fetish for new, interesting content.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is fine.
But then you have something like Grim Dawn that had I think at one point 30 or 40,000 active users after the expansion came out. You have people who play Path of Exile. That's a multiplayer game, but that's not. How many people actually play with each other in that game? Hell no. It's freaking hardcore.
In PoE, you don't get a lot of people playing together, but in Grim Dawn, your drop rate will improve, if you're playing multiplayer. So you're incentivized to play multiplayer. Same with Diablo. And I play all three of those games. I rotate between those three big ARPGs, depending on what I'm bored with at any given time. Then I'll just go play something else. But they're even those though, you're PoE obviously with their whole model is constantly churning out new content and getting people to buy microtransactions or stash.
Right. No, their model is active user engagement. They want people playing the game, and the more people that play the game, the more people might buy stuff. Right. I think
Grim
the problem
Dawn,
is
doesn't Grim Dawn is a pretty classic model.
It is, and I appreciate that, but they did just put out an expansion, and also they're probably after this expansion, they're probably done with that game. They're I don't know.
That's fine. I like finite things.
It's fine.
It's a huge ass game. I mean,
it's a huge ass game. The one thing I don't like about it is the fact that you have to play through the same content on multiple difficulty levels to get to the real end game. That annoys me. That's what I Path of Exile finally went away from that with their last big expansion, and that's when I finally got into the end game. I put in the time to level up a character, get to like the in-game maps and stuff, and I enjoyed it a whole lot more. Like I don't like playing the same fucking content in the same game, just on different difficulty levels.
I can understand that. I guess I don't pour enough time into. As long as the loot, yeah. I guess I
for
don't.
those games, like you generally can go through the content about, like, you know, 25% of the time. Like it takes you longer the first time. And the second time you run through it, it takes like no time at all.
Yeah.
It just in the way that game is situated is that the third playthrough is really the end game. So instead of having like a map situation, you have like, let's go in this random area and kill some stuff.
Yeah, you play the like. There's three.
That's ultimate, right?
Yeah, ultimate. There's like 3 or 4, like they call them roguelike dungeons. They're not really roguelike, but you have to spend some kind of resource just to be able to run them. And the idea is like there's better drop rates in those dungeons, and you get cooler shit.
Yeah, they're tough as hell too. I finally beat Old Arcovia or whatever, and that was a pain. I never beat the other one. Or there was like a small free expansion that they had added the port or something, and I never did that one.
Yeah, so let's go back to like talking about like single player games versus in Visceral, right? Like, or maybe we're jumping the gun here.
No, go ahead. Transitions are
okay.
Cool.
Yeah, because AAA single player games are going away, but like I feel like they don't have to go away. I feel that people just need to step back and like try to innovate a way that you can have these single player games, and you can have a way to keep people interested in wanting to keep playing your game instead of burning through it and discarding it. Like I feel like games like Dead Space, speaking of Visceral, or Uncharted, like these things just don't really scale that well. I thought that something like Horizon that came out earlier this year from Sony, I thought had a much better angle to keep people engaged and could have done a little bit more.
What was the angle with that? Because I was done with it when I was done with it. I never bothered to find out what was I'm okay with the disposable aspect of it. When I play a game once, good. You know, as long as I get a quality 20 hours out of it, I'm okay.
Well, it's the same thing that Skyrim, in a sense of like it was a big open world, and you keep adding to that open world and keep people playing it and wanting to come back to it, right? Yeah. Because the core gameplay loop was good. I think the thing that people need to really think about is the gameplay loops. Like if your gameplay loop is pushed forward for the feels, like that's probably not sustainable. If your gameplay loop into the next action set piece, you probably shouldn't do that. Like, but if you step back and like say, like here are some mechanics, we're gonna have people do this over and over. We're gonna make it more complicated as they get better, and we're gonna make it scale. Well, then that is the way you can even have a single player game, and people are going to want to keep doing it. If people want to keep playing it, and hopefully it, stay engaged with your users more, and if they stay engaged, and they'll probably buy your expansion, they'll buy your DLC.
I don't think one obviates the other. I think the real thing that doesn't scale is the budget for these Uncharted-esque, high production value single player stuff. That I do understand, right? When you're forking over 30, 40 mil, just to make a 15-hour single player campaign, even I think that's ridiculous. Then you probably should have some sort of sustainability model just to justify the investment in it. But
sometimes you just
if you want to throw $5 million and recoup it in a Hollywood style big production, museum game, I'm on board. Trouble is they usually neuter them and focus group them in for a mass market audience, so we get all the wacky jokes of Nate. What's his name from Uncharted? Nathan Drake. And it's like, man, that's funny for 5 minutes, and then it gets so old. It's kind of like the Nintendo quirkiness.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't know what would make me happy. So whatever. What would make? I don't know, guys. I haven't enough. Is
there a interesting like I said gameplay loop and skill ceiling issue on these kind of games though?
No, I'm fine with there being a skill ceiling issue. I'll never see the ceiling. I'll never even see the top of the living room, as it were. So for me, that's fine. Like I said, good 20 hours, good content variety, decent core gameplay loop that isn't full of fidgety, over-designed or cumbersome controls, some stats, some decent character growth mechanics that allow you to develop it out, some reasonable margin for goofing off with the engine. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the money spent. $49.99 for 20 hours. I spent worse, and we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
I don't buy that many games, though, so there's no point in anyone in the absurd off chance scenario that there's someone in the industry listening to this right now. There's absolutely no reason to cater to someone like me.
No, I played 2 like big single player games this year. Like I played Zelda and Persona 5, but like those are some of my favorite series, and like I'm not like that's the thing is like I'm not really seriously in quote unquote the hobby anymore because I just I don't give a shit. Like
that's where I am.
So, but you say you're not in the hobby, but you spend like some significant amount of your free time playing video games.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
totally.
but think of the alternative, which is just feeling the heavy weight of entropy slowly tearing your cells apart.
Right. I know about creeping nihilism, Doug.
Right, sure. But like, I don't take it seriously, and like, I don't let it define me, and like, I sure as shit like don't like get to feel so much like about.
Who did you ship in Persona 5?
I mean. I think
Who'd you waifu? Who'd you waifu?
Ship.
I waifu'd the one whose persona was a motorcycle.
Oh, good call.
Yeah.
Good call. I waifu'd the motorcycle. I kicked the gal.
Yeah, no, I figured you would do that. But yeah, I waifu'd her, and then I started a second playthrough, and I was gonna waifu the swimsuit model.
Ah, predictable.
Or no, actually, I think I was.
I waifu'd the fortune teller.
You didn't waifu the teacher /
This goes way back to early Cruncheons. We were talking about Baldur's Gate 2, where I waifu'd the kooky nature chick. Them hippie gals.
Yeah.
They need waifuing.
I'm
just saying. I don't know. You know, she had some. This is what prep that Snoop Dogg image again to drop that.
Yeah, no. To be fair, Tahira had some serious daddy issues. So I remember that game very well.
That's right.
I
remember the character's name.
I think the thing that like bugs me about I mean, we're still talking about AAA stuff, right?
Yeah.
Sort of. I picked up the Battlefield 1 season pass because it was half off, and I was like, I've been enjoying that, and man, oh god, it enraged me. They've got like tasks and stuff that you have to accomplish, like kill this many people with this before you can unlock this weapon or whatever. And it made me so mad because I paid for this stuff, and as somebody that's only going to play it a couple of hours on a weekend, I'll never get to unlock some of these weapons that I paid for, and and I mean, they do have a sort of built-in mechanic where you earn war bonds at the end of the match, and then you take your war bonds and you spend them to unlock the weapons, and it's pretty balanced in that you can play a couple of matches and then you usually have enough to unlock a weapon or something like that, and you have to be a certain level to unlock certain weapons or whatever, and it sounds a little bit more complicated than it is, but the DLC stuff is, everything's got like missions or whatever attached to it, and kill 7 out of 10 medics with this, and but that's not the only thing you have to do. You got to do 3 other things, and then you'll unlock this weapon. And I'm like, dude, I gave you fucking $25, like, I mean,
give me my shit.
Yeah, I get the war bonds thing. That was part of the game I bought into, but you're springing some extra shit on me now,
Yeah, it's like going into GameStop, right? And you're saying, look, I want to buy the game. He goes, cool, yeah, I'll take $25. Before I can hand this to you, you got any pictures of your sister?
So I've seen that a lot, Kevin, where it's all about like, let's gate stuff in the game and gate content in the game to make you jump through certain hoops to get there. And I think the problem there is that you just want to play the game.
Yeah.
Like, just give me the core gameplay loop and then let me pick and choose the kind of stuff I want to progress my character while I'm enjoying the core gameplay loop, instead of twisting the core gameplay loop by having all these additional things that have to do that distorts how I might actually want to play. And I think the problem with that, the reason why they do that is because eventually Battlefield 1 is going to become, retired and extant, and they'll release a new Battlefield game, and they do that. Like, if it was just Battlefield, and you could just, like, buy a Battlefield and, like, subscribe to Battlefield, or, buy, pick and choose content that you want to play on it and just enjoy the same loop for like 5-10 years, then you wouldn't have that problem. But it's because it's that one specific release that you have to, twist and juggle things to get people to play the same game instead of just refining that core gameplay loop. I don't understand like why the AAA, why big companies like EA and whatnot so afraid to say, look, here's our product portfolio. It's Battlefield. It's some other franchises, some of FIFA. It's Madden, and like here's the game, and we're just gonna. You don't buy versions of it. You just like buy the game, and we'll keep updating them and just actually run it like an actual software. Really, like release instead of like this really bizarre.
Like charge you $120 up front for it.
Or it's like no, charge you like $50 for it. You just you wind up pumping money into it if you keep playing it. Like. Yeah. I just don't get the entire industry model of releases and all the marketing that gets on top of that versus just stepping back and doing what Blizzard is doing. Is like, here are our franchises. Here's what you do to get them. And then you don't buy Blizzard games, really. You just buy stuff for them.
Sure. But the problem is that on consoles, like on top of like the model of now buying like season passes and DLC and blah blah blah, all of that, like you're paying like a monthly fee for the online service on top of that. So like you're getting fucking gouged twice. Like,
I don't know what you're all complaining about. I paid an a undisclosed amount to a undisclosed mobile title. So
we're hold on there, Tiger. We're getting there.
Yeah, you let me know because I got special graphics for that.
Oh dear. I don't know. Keep going. I'm just sitting over here. Just throwing cash dollar in the air, clapping back. That's what I do.
I mean, I guess. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, I guess what I'm saying is that you have companies like PlayerUnknown, and you have you have Dota. You have Valve and Dota. You have all these games that are like wildly successful, and they're not versioned. They're not like, here's our release, and you might buy another one later. Like, here's the service. Let's play it, and then you play as much as you want, and you come back to it.
Yeah, but that's solely like a PC thing, right? Like you don't have anything like that on consoles.
Well, yes and no, because like say oh god, I'm blanking on the name. The Blizzard game, the shooting game, the one
Overwatch.
Overwatch. Oh my god. Yeah. What am I, 80 years old?
I tried that game for like 30 minutes, and I mean, I fancy myself in my narcissistic little head as a man of quality insults. And yet, I learned things playing 30 minutes of Overwatch, and I was called more combination of racist, homophobic, and sexist. I couldn't even, I mean, it was like a literal tesseract of possible combinations of various epithets. I was called all of them, I think, in the span of that 30 minutes.
A good free-flowing open sewer.
Yeah. You didn't mute everybody?
That's what happens when you pick Tracer, apparently.
You didn't mute everybody? I mean, that's like the first thing I do.
It took me like... You can't complain. It took me like 10 minutes to figure that shit out.
I just, half the time I don't even plug my headset in. Like, Battlefield kind of makes it a little bit easier to get around. And they have similar thing in Overwatch where you have your comma rows where you can bring up and your more common requests and
comma rows. Is that like what is that a portmanteau of what common requests or what's comma rows?
That's just what they call a communications rows when you hold the shoulder button down and the wheel pops.
It's not like on the secret menu at the taco truck or anything. It's
no, it's like in Tribes, like when you used to hit buttons and you could hit.
I hate it when people make up stupid terms.
That's what they call it. I didn't. It wasn't my term.
So I guess I want to go back to something you said earlier, or Arian. You said earlier that they don't have this on, but it's just a PC thing. Like, why does it have to be just a PC thing? Like, hasn't PC gaming and the style of things that people want to play and console gaming like relatively merged, both in terms of audience and expectations, a lot over the last 5 years?
A lot, like, for sure, but like
a lot.
I think, I don't know. Like, they've merged a lot, but like they haven't merged that much.
Right. I mean, there's Nintendo, which does its own thing and will always
Sure.
be its own separate thread of execution. But like
consoles are what we at work refer to, as they're about quality of life, right? They're generally about push A to do everything for you on the interface, which is kind of nice. It's like me and Kevin were talking about this before this. He goes, "Why can't I just push the damn PlayStation button to stream? Why do I got to jump to all these hoops? Why do I have to install these software packages, that are clearly written, with early era Qt UI elements in C++, right? Why do we got to go through all the jump through all these technical hoops when you get on the PlayStation, you push the stream button, and there you are douching it up on YouTube,
Yeah.
right? We don't have the so there are consoles are very much about quality of life. They sacrifice a lot to get that.
Yeah,
right?
I had to install 3 different programs so we could douche it up. So
right, but in terms of like what people are actually playing and doing, like are what people playing on the PC versus what people are actually playing the most on the consoles, like all that different?
Well, that's where the Confucianist caste system comes into play, right?
Yeah,
I don't.
There's
I don't
the creator class, the PC master race.
Like for sure, like you
To
have
resurrect that old meme, and then there's the console plebes.
It's becoming like the streams are becoming more and more crossed. Like you're even getting like D3 showed up on consoles, and now even Path of Exile's on Xbox One.
some people actually
that's
prefer
releasable.
it on
There's also
consoles.
cross-play showing up. I mean,
Yeah.
the API story for PCs has gotten really good. It's not, people using very genre-specific, networking APIs. They've now gravitated around, Steam. Microsoft provides a whole set of common gaming APIs. They'll probably all merge into, they'll at least be in 2 or 3 big winners, and they'll all be they'll all enable crossplay because they'll use a common API, a very similar API set. Dare I say, this is probably antithetical to game design in general, but I could see something resembling an open standard emerge. They would never be so sophisticated as to actually form a working group and create a standard.
No, because working group is just a guarantee they're not going to nothing useful is going to come out of it. But
I want to make some swagger jokes here, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
cost those streams.
Right. I wanted to point out that Path of Exile in particular, just to call out, like Lockstep and the way that Grinding Gear Games did their networking code, and that game is probably one of the most fantastic examples of responding to users' core complaint on something that's very hard that I've ever seen a game come. So if anyone out there like plays Path of Exile or knows Grinding Gear Games, it is amazing.
It used to be so much worse. Like
what's the one the fighting games use? GGPX, I think it is. That one's supposedly really good. It's a TCP/IP. It's a very low level networking API that really is just designed around hitboxes and fighting game models, keeping them in sync, and that one's really developed. I think Capcom finally started using it, but I could be wrong. I'm sure someone on the stream will correct me. I know that
it's like
GGP Fighters games.
It's like GGPO, I think is
GGPX. I think it was
X. Okay,
maybe. Anyways, that's why I said those genre-specific APIs tend to perform the best. But again, the amount of development on them rises and falls, with the popularities of those genres. I think a standard is actually, the more I think, kind of highly unlikely. But it'd be good if cross-platform play is the future. We've seen Xbox and PlayStation cross-platform play. I believe there's a couple games even out now that do pretty good cross-platform with PC as well. It's just the big companies don't like that. They want to lock you into ecosystems because that is past 3 to 5 years that's been the way of the world. Lock them into the ecosystem, get their dollars, keep them buying upgrades to the hardware.
Okay, Doug, can we talk about Visceral specifically? Because I know you mentioned it, and I don't know. You said you saw something on the Facebooks today.
I did. I just saw that Visceral's shut downish because of their Star Wars Uncharted game. I know there's a big the internets were all with their political kerfuffle over Amy Hennig. She was doing I believe she was a director or producer or something on that, doing a lot of that. So her name was attached to it. It got really ambitious. Again, I could be completely misrepresenting this. I'm just going off.
For people that might just be watching this, list off a few of the bigger, larger, more well-known games that Visceral are responsible for.
Dead Space 1, 2. I think they worked on 3 as well. That's what comes to mind for me.
Yeah, that's what they're most well known for, and like they were involved with 3, but then like EA came in, kind of EA'd it up.
I never played 3.
Yeah, I played the first one, and then I didn't play the second one.
The second one was good. I played part of the first one because I got in a bundle, which someone gifted me for Christmas. I played through 2, and I was like, this is pretty good. I liked chopping limbs off with a laser. That was a novel thing, and it had some spooky bits. Not like the whole. I like the story. Okay, it's like I like it when there's evil alien space cult and some Event Horizon-y stuff in there. I don't get enough of that, trope in my gaming diet. So it's still, I wouldn't say it's fresh, but it's at least more interesting than
It's not.
I'm a soldier of fortune and war is hell, but I'm gonna shoot 3,000 people.
Yeah,
because I can't stop the cycle of suffering continues.
You're not far off either, man. I mean, it was limitations of hardware and such at the time, but even shooting games had a little bit more intimate feel way back when. The very first Medal of Honors or whatever, you didn't have 100 dudes on the screen. Like, it was a big set piece at the end when you had 10 dudes in the same room that you were.
Yeah, and they all had absurd body armor and sniper rifles.
But it was mostly this weird, almost lonely feeling that you got when you were walking down the little hedgerows or the dirt paths or whatever. And I kind of miss that because it's just wall to wall noise and explosions and stuff now.
Now it's like remember Doom? Yeah, you remember Doom? It's like I saw people complaining in Doom that you had to push A to pick up your ammunition.
I like that new Doom. That was a pretty good game.
But you didn't like the new Wolfenstein, or?
No, I didn't like New Order that much because that's just not the Wolfenstein that I wanted. I like the supernatural
Hitler
Wolfenstein. In it? There's mech hounds and dudes in mech suits and stuff, and I mean the shooting's pretty good. That's I haven't played this latest one. But the shooting's pretty good, and it's just it got a little story heavy, and the story's kind of, I mean, I guess maybe this is what they were going for, but it's like a 1990s image comic. It just kind of, I just didn't like it that much. The old Wolfenstein, I think Return to Castle Wolfenstein had 5 minutes total cutscenes.
It's like
there's
the
some Nazis.
has brought back Rob Zombie from the grave. Go kill him.
Yeah, pretty much, and that was it. It used to make me laugh because the cutscene was the dude sitting behind his desk talking to you. That was the cutscene. Like, go kill these Nazis, and then 2 minutes later, you got a gun in your hand and you're running around for the next hour or whatever.
Yeah,
and it was too much taking the gun out of your hands. How's that? I hate that in games, and it bugged me. And plus, I didn't like the stealth. Like,
you didn't want you didn't want some gal buddy and conflicted past coming in and saying, "Why do we kill Nazis? Why does it have to?"
I find that stealth in those games where the game really is built around stealth just becomes just obnoxious. Because it's just not fun.
I remember walking into a room and you got the Nazi guard had his path that he was following. It's like, and you're supposed to time the path or whatever. I walked right beside him and he didn't notice me, and I was like, you don't hear my feet. You don't, I stink because I've been crawling through the friggin' sewer.
In his personal space. Maybe he's just really uncomfortable.
Maybe he had his occupied earbuds in or something. I don't know.
No, I think you're invading his personal space. It was like the elevators. You're like, because you don't know what to do.
He was just
giving me. I don't want this guy touching me. I'm just going to follow my route, eyes forward. Hope he goes away.
Like if you ride the subway and there's the crazy guy playing the violin and you just try to not make eye contact,
Yeah, and he's thinking the whole time, what if that guy with the Gatling gun gives me frottage? What do I do? What do I do in that situation? Don't think about that, Mr. Nazi. Don't think about that.
Maybe
could happen. It happens in those games all the time. He starts, his mind goes down that anxiety route. Thinking, the kids they teabag all the time in those things. You don't know what these people are on about. Just walk your route, keep the route, stay in your lane.
Yeah, to be fair, the last thing you want in your games is to recreate the 545 bus experience. So
the 540. Oh yeah.
You know the one I'm talking about.
Oh, that'd be a good game. Now you give me a game idea. Yeah. Actually, it would really just be nothing more than a hobo vomiting on you. But I don't know what the core gameplay loop in that would be. Now I think about it. Shame, mostly. Shame and a lot of a holistic anxiety.
By the way, for anybody watching, I apologize if there's dropouts and the video quality's kind of crap. I'm streaming this on Surface Pro 2, so.
Yeah, his GoFundMe is at.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, you know, a lot of people liked, by the way, that new Wolfenstein. John Garrett saying, you know, the new Wolfenstein is pretty good, but he enjoyed the New Order too. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying anybody's a sucker for liking it.
Yeah, you
are. I
just
didn't.
Own it.
I didn't like it. My Wolfenstein is filled with like Norse mummies rising up from the mist and weird medical experiments that roll around on their torso and shoot electricity at you and zombified things in test tubes and things like that. I mean, but that wasn't Wolfenstein before that either. So maybe somebody that played the very first one was like, this is bullshit with all this supernatural stuff, because it wasn't like that in the very first one. So. Yeah.
Have I selectively edited my memory, or did it actually play Dragula fight?
I don't know. It was some Rob Zombie sounding stuff, I believe.
You selectively edited your memory.
Well, to done. It is, to me, it is now truth. So where Dragula played at the end of Wolfenstein: The Return.
You gotta dig through your witches.
Burn through. Yeah, I'm not gonna sing here. I've already done enough.
Not yet. We still have to get to Indefensible.
Mm.
Did we get to Indefensible?
Mm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what are we on agenda-wise now? I think have we covered everything.
I was gonna. I have a bit on. Well, I don't have a bit. I mean, if we want to talk YouTube celebrities, we can discuss those. Although, really, you know.
Okay.
I was just looking for things on the agenda. Go ahead.
Let's
Rob.
talk about our favorite YouTube celebrities. That sounds like fun.
I can talk about my favorite YouTube celebrity. I do actually have a favorite YouTube. I've told Kevin about him already.
I'll talk about mine. Kevin, do you have a graphic of tumbleweeds blowing that we can put up?
No, I do not. I will certainly. That's a good one to keep on the file there.
You're so punk rock.
Yeah, because I don't have one.
You have one. Come on, there's someone that you like on YouTube.
I mean, there's not anybody I really like. There's people I find informative.
I'm not saying like. I'm just saying, yeah, I'll watch your shit.
Yeah, no, I'll watch like.
Don't gotta waifu them.
Yeah, I'll watch like people's shit like for the ARPGs that I play, but that's like pretty much it as far as gaming shit goes.
So are you an Al Qaeda watcher? Because I love Alk stream so much.
Al Kaiser,
like in like small amounts.
I like
it's absolutely hilarious.
I like watching his stream when he's like playing high level content and trying to push, and he's not talking because he's kind of like a spoiled brat, like personality wise.
What
like
are you saying?
All he wants to do is like talk about other people and make fun of them. But like,
what are you saying?
I'm saying like.
I find that's great. Like he's just sitting there talking trash about people and is obviously just blowing people out in terms of his skill. Like I actually really appreciate the fact that he just gives no.
Yeah, how can you say that as a guy who has spent his internet career talking trash? How can you hate on a trash talker?
I don't know. Because I talk all sorts of shit, but I'm not actually talented. He's actually talented, and he still talks shit.
You're pretty good at talking shit.
So would you rather watch Alk or would you like watch like Ziggy D or Nugan?
No, I would rather like it. Like it depends. Like when a league starting for PoE, whatever. Like I'd rather watch Ziggy D or Zren or one of those guys who's gonna be like chill and give you like information like towards the end of a league or like a season in Diablo when like it's just people pushing. I'd rather watch Alk because like he's gonna be like trying like the hardest content.
Yeah.
Like and he's also going to be, because he's trying the hardest content while he's doing it, like he needs to concentrate so much he shuts up.
So this is an interesting point. There's like a lot of times you just want to watch like streamers and personalities on YouTube that actually just don't interact with you at all. You just want to watch them and have that ambient thing in the background, but it's never like a primary thing you want to do. It's just like, here's an alternate input in my brain that I developed over years of just how I spend my time playing a game. Like I'll play a game and I got the stream in the background, or I've seen people at work and have the stream in the background. It's just like their background radiation. Like it's actually kind of, I think it's really cool. It's interesting you say that because like I especially for ARPGs, I find it really hard actionable advice that they can give, because all I'm doing is just like copying a 4-post build and like looking for loot. Like I'm not going to sit there and theory craft crap. Like,
no, I'm not going to.
No. I'm not the 99.9% player that's going to want to not do that. Like, and that's a very small percentage.
That's why I like those guys like at the beginning of like new content, so that I can figure out what I want to do. Because like I view them as like, okay, tell me what the fuck I want to do, and then I'll figure out what they're doing, and if I want to do, do I want to play a Wander this league, or do I want to play like Frostblades? Like, what build do I want to play? And then once I figure that out, like I'll look at like 2 or 3 different variations of it and be like, okay, I'll do this. But like as far as like personalities go, I don't really give a shit about personality.
You just want to play face breakers every league. Just do that. Like I guarantee you, it's perfectly safe hardcore. Like hardcore face breakers, come on, man. Honest to God, I did that like twice and gibbed twice. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I've never watched a gaming feed. I did very briefly, consider doing a motorcycle vlog. What they call a moto vlog or moto vlog. By the way, you want to talk about douchey personalities. They're all douchey, which makes me a natural fit for that particular environment. But they have one thing I lack, and that is, I don't know. I think I have a surplus of narcissism, but I also have a fundamental I don't give a fuck. And I never really followed through with anything. That said, my favorite personality is he has like 200 subscribers, because that's just how edgy I am. And it's this guy riding a Yamaha TW200. For those who don't know, it's a shitty little farm bike, dirt bike. Not shitty, actually. It's a carb, old single engine. Everywhere in the Midwest, you'll probably find one rotting in a barn somewhere. And he goes to a Dallas parking lot. He's this old guy, just literally the oldest, whitest cack you have ever seen. And he sits there and he just rolls around with his head cam on in this parking lot doing slow loops while he says vaguely racist things about Dallas city politics. And I don't know why I find this funny, but it just kills me. And I'm not the only one. All his subscribers, they spend the whole time, is he for real or is this a setup? And I'm actually on the side of real. The big question mark is, how did this guy who has like maybe an IQ of 60 figure out how to do moto vlog? And that hurts me even more because he figured out how to put titles on shit, and I couldn't figure out how to do that. And he's like, he just rides around kind of mumbling in that Texas accent, I pay a lot in taxes. Got there and I see these kids from the inner city, and they got nice cars. They got real nice cars. I always wonder how they get that, and I think it's drugs or maybe I'm paying for that. And he just kind of rolls around in lazy circles. Not like I said, the bike is small and he is large. And it's just, I don't know if it's a weird contrarian zen, or if I find it, I will definitely link to it. Nice. I will go through my browser history and find that one. Came off another vlog of a guy who tries too hard to be edgy and dopey, but he at least had some funny lines from time to time, which I got from another more obnoxious vlog of a guy who's just generally douchey and proud of the fact that he buys expensive motorcycles and pulls around, mad stunting, and I think he's which I got off another one. Well, the whole moto vlogging community, much like gaming, has its own set of personalities and internecine drama and warfare. The best bit of drama that came out of it is there's this guy called Yami Noob. And probably by mentioning, I'm going to evoke his spirit, and people actually show up, and his defenders and detractors will have it out in our little shitty feed. But anyways, he was a poser, right? He made some really popular videos, the top 10 sport bikers you meet, or the top 10 cruiser riders you meet, and they're actually funny and pretty well produced. He's got a good YouTube personality, even if he, like me, is kind of nasally and obnoxious. But he got anyways, he bought and crashed 2 Triumph Daytona 675s, and the third one put him in the hospital. It's a pretty spectacular video of him plowing into the front of some gal's Porsche and getting launched miles into the air. And after all the trash he talked about, his mad skills, and all that, he attracted the attention. He always call out other viewers. He attracted a guy called Shade Tree Surgeon, who's this drawling dude on a dirt bike or a Harley generally, and he's actually surprisingly liberal. But he just talks a lot of that down home, cut off sleeves, tattooed, shit talk. And basically a huge feud came up from them. And then these other vlogs I started following because I have no life, apparently. There's these wacky ones to imitate them and do commenting. I started clicking on those because some were actually kind of funny and trolly, and that's how I found. I'll dig it up just because it has to be seen at least once to be believed. This old dude riding around the parking lot. I said, I am home. This is where I'm supposed to be.
Well, I mean, you can imagine seeing that, guy doing that in Ocean Shores, right? Just wandering around, looking at all the people coming and visiting.
I've been that guy in Ocean Shores.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Oh man, Seattle Council trying to told me for going. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. It's going to pay for sports arenas.
Got ST3 taxes and the damn socialists.
Goddamn Amazon's coming to ruin the area all this liberal tech, bro. I don't understand it anymore. But Woodinville used to be filled with drugs, and now it's full of wineries. Yeah.
That's Gur-handed.
Yeah, so that's more my YouTube. My child, however, my beloved daughter, sometime we should try to get her on here because she can tell us all about the real world of the internet. Yeah, she watches all. I mean, she's literally, when she's not doing homework or playing Terraria, and she is hardcore Terraria, I might add. She is like a level of hardcore. She's also hardcore Persona 4, which she says is by far and away the best Persona. She has I remember those days when I had very strong concrete opinions on the canonical ordering of games. And to her, it's Persona 4, then it's Persona 5, then it's Persona 3, and all the rest don't exist, which shames me. But all that said, she follows some YouTube folks. The kids these days watch. I don't understand these. I really don't. This is what makes me old. I understood my parents, would watch me watching Saturday morning cartoons, and my dad would go, "What the fuck is that shit?" Dad, it's He-Man. That's Skeletor. Whatever. Just get a job. and
I'm 8.
I still remember trying to explain Metroid to my dad, and how surprising it was that Samus was a girl, and the look he gave me. Okay. I wish you'd stayed in Boy Scouts. Literally. Yeah, but you go back.
That's savage.
But I'm in the same shoes right now. My daughter's going to, Dad, oh, come watch these comment award videos where it's that faux British robot voice reading off YouTube comments, and she laughs hysterically at this. It's funny, and she'll watch hours of this stuff. Hours,
dude, that robot voice is hilarious.
Or Dumb Mario, which is literally Mario, with all his clothes off, in the Mario 64 form, but yeah, and spazzing out to wacky music and also references to memes. Now, I have had some father-daughter bonding moments with her where we sit down and watch MLG 420 videos because apparently I'm a terrible parent. And because I still find those funny. I don't know why. It's probably my ADHD plus, having literally an IQ of 61. That's how this family works. Yeah, but I appreciate
those videos can be clever. Those videos can be really clever.
I'll watch Caillou MLG videos or Peppa Pig MLG
because those videos have been around for years.
Yeah.
The makers still find new and interesting things to spin on, even though they're recycling literally the same.
Yeah, and now my daughter likes Skrillex, so there we go. She doesn't like Justin Bieber. She doesn't like Taylor Swift. She likes Skrillex. I'll leave that judgment call to the people watching and listening. Yeah, so she's a big dubstep trance house fan, probably due entirely to watching terrible YouTube videos.
Yeah, but she likes
Nightcore.
She likes Nightcore. I was going to get back to the Night Like, you do have to do something about that.
I do. As my long-standing joke does, it's military school or the prayer closet or the scorpion pit. I haven't decided
Okay,
yet.
that's fine. Just as long as you got a plan.
All right.
Yeah, all roads lead to the same outcome, which is complete abandonment of my child to the wilds of nature. Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't understand. They're all just these spazzy things. Sometimes it's just like two anime characters badly drawn. They're badly drawn versions making jokes about MCs and shipping. And MCs are AMC's alternate head canon. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's all meta. Her to them that's the height of humor. And I'm just sitting here like my dad, thinking, why the fuck can't you go sell Girl Scout cookies?
Well, if she's
organic,
selling Girl Scout
locally sourced Girl Scout cookies.
If she was selling Girl Scout cookies, then you'd be buying them, and then you have to oh my god, I ate half a bag of Do-si-Dos because I was stressed out, and now I feel horrible. And
I like
killing myself. Yeah.
What I like about you, Robert, is you haven't hit that night phase yet. Where that actually seems like not so bad. I'm just sitting here drunk on Thin Mints and Samoas. Could be worse. I'm just sitting here watching YouTube Nightcore videos, shoving my face full of Samoas. Life's good. I don't know what good is anymore.
What
are the peanut butter ones? Because I really love those peanut butter cookies, but they're really bad for you.
Yeah, they're literally 1,000 calories per cookie.
I know. It's like absolutely frightening. And I'm sitting here and I won't even get the teeniest, tiniest of Tillamook ice cream things because I'm like, oh my god, this is terrible. I can't touch this.
Yeah, we have to keep our girlish figures for the corporate life.
No, seriously.
Important. I know.
Well, no,
those millennials coming in, they're all like, we're going on our day trip hiking to the top of Mount Rainier today. Yeah, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to go home and watch comic books in my day.
Right.
I'm actually going to have an opinion, which I will initially think is ironic about which characters to ship in a Persona game, but it'll gradually, as the conversation go on, become less ironic and more sincere and earnest till I actually have an opinion, on.
So why instead of shipping characters, why don't we ship personas and figure out which ones are going to fuse to make better ones so that we can have better stats?
Because we'd get to the point where we'd only care about shipping ones that would produce cool dick-looking personas.
Yeah, we all roads lead to what is that horrifying
one? The Dick Chariot, dude.
The Dick Chariot, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that one?
Ah, God. I forget
it's called Dick Chariot. That sounds fine.
Yeah, my daughter has seen that many times. It doesn't faze her in the slightest.
Well, yeah. Hopefully, Randy Pitchford isn't listening, or we'll have Dick Chariot in the next Borderlands game. So.
Oh.
My daughter's just like, no, I wouldn't. She's like, I wouldn't summon that. She doesn't cuss, even though I've heard. Yeah, she's completely unfazed by this shit. She did go very briefly through a Sonic phase, though, which had me very worried. As a parent, I considered a number of hardcore conservative religious faiths that she might want to join.
Dude, if I had a kid and they were Sonic, I would literally get one of those ECM jammer planes and hire them out whenever my kids are home and just bash the Wi-Fi in the house. It's there will be no telecommunications coming into this home until you're over this phase.
We did share a good laugh over Cold Steel the Edgehog, though, so there was that.
Yeah. There you go.
Anyway, so I'll go next.
Okay.
So I do like some YouTube personalities I would expect. A couple of guys that play XCOM at way too high level with crazy mods and impossible chances to win. I enjoy that. I don't generally play at those difficulty levels because it's just I'll never get anywhere, and I gotta at least enjoy my gaming somewhat. So I like to watch those when I'm falling asleep after work and just need a nap. The other one I like a lot is a guy named Nut, because I love, lawn care and landscaping. It's fun, and I that's one of the therapeutic things. And I love that there's a guy who can get excited about taking literally the shit from Milwaukee's sewer plants that has been baked and turned into nitrogen-rich fertilizer and putting it across his lawn.
What was that guy's name again? You kind of dropped out.
The guy's name is the Lawn Care Nut.
The Lawn Care Nerd?
The Lawn Nut.
Nut. Okay.
Wow, he was really running out of mod the day he was thinking of that particular. Or does he have if he actually has a separate channel dedicated to lawn care, that would be kind of cool.
He does.
He's like, I'm all about lawn care and high-level XCOM play.
No, it's not the same person. They're different people.
Oh, okay. I was kind of hoping.
Obviously. No, it'd be pretty cool because that's kind of like what I am. I just play like Civ, and I only play like 2 games. I play Civ and XCOM, and I just alternate between the two. I don't have time in my life to like learn new things. I just play the same thing. It's like the person on Spotify who has like 5 albums. They still subscribe and they just listen to those same 5 albums over again. Like those people actually do exist. I'm kind of like that.
I listen to pretty much the same playlist over and over again. It's just a rap playlist that's nothing but songs about asses. That's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Uncomfortable silence, my friend. I listen to the rapping musics as well. I will admit to having a literally white boy overplaying "Run the Jewels" on my playlist.
Yeah.
And I may or may not have Riding Dirty, or I'm sorry, Riding, as I got wrong on trivia night.
They dinged you for that extra G.
You got that wrong?
Yeah, I said Riding Dirty, and they go, no, it's Riding. I said, no, it's Riding Dirty. Let me Google. Oh, fuck.
Oof, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Doug Shame.
Yeah.
Is it time?
I think it's time.
All right. All right, Doug.
The special Indefensible graphic.
Okay.
All right, Doug. So,
oh God.
I want you to defend yourself for dropping so much money on mobile games. Doug, wail.
I wailed. I did. I totally wailed out. I didn't like Mega Star Citizen wail. So, I mean, those are the things you tell yourself at night, right? I did, in fact.
The graphic.
Oh, so how does one defend the practice of wailing?
Wait a minute. How much did you spend?
Yeah, and on what game?
Jesus Christ, dude. Jesus Christ. Everyone's going to jump this. I'm going to get so much shit for this.
Yeah.
It was... Jesus Christ. Over the course of about a year and a half, I spent approximately $750 on a game called Dragon Blaze, where I was in the top 5% of players. That's all I got, and it's got like Vanillaware style art, and it's very pretty, but very, I would say, arguably pretty shallow. The meta game is average for any game of that. It's like Puzzle and Dragons, but yes, it's one of those things where it just creeps up on you. It just creeps up on you, man. I'm just saying 99 cents turns into $9.99. Never bought the big ones. I just, I'd be bored sitting in a conference call at work, or I'd be, tooling around the house, waiting for a real game to download, or I'd be out in the garage, pissed off at, trying to fix one of my bikes, and my phone would be there, and I'm like, I'll just click Dragon Blaze because at least it's, very pretty, very well animated, visuals. Go run some dungeons and get some loot. Crap. I clearly this is just a little higher than me. If I drop $9.99 right now, I can get a new character for my party. Good chance of it. Do the gacha pull. Get the equivalent of a gacha pull in it. Get that fat loot, and look there, I'm running the dungeon. Whee! An hour goes by. You just do that over and over again, and it's like the only game I had on my phone. If you find yourself like waiting a lot in your life, like sitting at the car dealership, or sitting at a hospital, or waiting for your kid, it just became a thing I did. Right? It's just compulsive. Hit it, click it, and the whole time I knew that is exactly what they wanted. Right? The nefarious whatever Korean or Chinese company, they had this thing figured out to a science. It's like
so the sentiment there is like those people that when they write the check or whatever to the electric company, they write "fuck you" in the little message thing because they're so pissed
I
off at
wanted to. I was even in a guild on it, really mostly just so I could get a heads up from some guy he was on big poster on Reddit who would constantly drop metagame tips. It's like, look, in this coming patch year, they're going to switch to defense penetration as the primary stat, so you'll want to gear up accordingly. Here's the dungeons you need to run at what times. You can get this shit. Get the loadout. I was like, okay, all right. But all I did in their guild count was be a dick. I just cussed because I was kind of pissed. I mean, I was literally that guy. So I just kept doing it, and then I realized I was like placing in stuff, and I threw a little more in because I didn't want to fall behind the power curve. Right? It's like I wanted to make sure, that I had the optimum characters for the optimum, world battles and the, the arena and all the other shit that's bog standard for these games. And so I did. And I had good loadouts, and I was placing high in arena, and I was placing. I was actually spending quite a bit of time in the evenings trying to figure out, what the proper combination of gearing and party members was to, run to, maintain my status. I was in the top 100 in the fortress battle. And there's 50,000 active players at any given time. That's is that worth $750? You tell me. That's a pretty good video card.
I have 4 aquariums. That's more than what I spent on all 4 of those aquariums and the stuff that went in it, and the stands.
I know. That's what I tell myself. But that's the crux of my indefensible defense. Is that at some point, if you just don't give a fuck, it's like whatever gets you through the day, right? Whatever entertains you. It occupied time. I was not unhappy. I didn't spend any money on games. I think the only
here's where it would have been truly like you should be locked up and not allowed to go out amongst. If you'd taken it seriously.
That's already assumed about me. But I did take it seriously. I don't want to. I don't want to misrepresent myself here because this is contrition. This is penance. Okay. I do feel like I have betrayed some fundamental, Doug above it all, know it all thing by becoming yet another whale.
so it's interesting. It sounded like they were actually making sure that they tailored the content releases to keep you engaged.
Every 2 weeks.
They didn't even care about the people who weren't whaling. It's just just here's
that's
the whale
big leverage
here's
against the game.
Card.
You are gay. You will not. They basically they hook you on having a pretty dynamic, very visually gratifying visuals on it, right? There's cool explosions. The art is just gorgeous, right? It's better than Vanillaware level art, right? And it's just things are always blowing up and lightning bolts, and the characters are all very unique, designed cool. And there's hundreds upon hundreds of them. But at some point, you hit the point where you're having to get essence to ascend and then transcend characters, the same mechanics you see everywhere else. And their skills become much more rarefied, and they build buffs on top. Characters are designed to work in certain combinations in certain situations. And I found a lot of fun ferreting that out and finding out the way the different combinations would play together. It's not like hardcore WoW or any high level game, but it's enough that it was for a mobile game intellectually engaging, and the hooks got in. It could have been any game. It could have been Puzzle and Dragons, which I narrowly avoid. It could have been anything else. But for this one, for some reason, because it's also one of those games that, if I'm just doing it, I can easily, it pretty much plays itself. It is it's once you do things set up, there's so many quality of life features in it that just pretty much automate it. You can just turn it off, and you've spent 5 minutes keying up, turn it off, come back at your lunch break, and, take a look through all your loot and stat upgrades and all that stuff. Close it out again, come back later. It worked really well for the rhythm, for my ADHD, and the fact that I didn't actually, during that period, have a whole lot of free time. It was a way to do something different, and it was the right psychological time to catch Mr. I'm an elitist, I know it all, Doug Erickson, and get his monies.
To be honest, I don't think that money was spent that poorly. And
I don't like it morally.
Right, you don't like it morally, but I mean, they take those same impulses and they're literally just buy opioid drugs.
My defense to my wife is it's not plastic cases sitting around in the cabinet collecting dust, which is what that would have spent it on, right? Gone out and bought a game that I put thousands of hours into this shitty little mobile game. I didn't put that into, say, Horizon Zero Dawn, which cost me $60. You know, those if you add up actually, I mean, these are all intellectual justifications for what amounts to being a giant whale. Not the giantest of whales, but again, yeah, they got me. I understand they got me.
They got you, but you got something back, and I think that's like one of the things I want to like say. Like, I played Puzzles and Dragons. I spent a good $80-$90 on it over the time I played.
Like $60, but that was.
It was good. Like, it was fun. Like, the metagame was interesting and diverse, and I was doing different things, and it was engaging, and I had things to think about, and it really, gave me something to do during like you said, during the day, and like. I don't know.
I like filling space. I mean, to me, I look at the other way and goes, by the way, I appreciate you letting me say my and rub the rosary a few times. But in the end, how far am I away from being the guy in the nursing home playing Sudoku to fill his hours? Only I'm paying for the privilege. Yeah. I know it's in the end. I really don't give a shit. I mean, seriously, it's embarrassing, but. Whose history isn't filled with?
I don't. You see, I only think the social stigma that quote unquote gamers have put on whales is that they see them as like, okay, these are people mentally susceptible
who pay to win,
who are just putting money in garbage, and then what are they doing? Steal books for their games and weeb statues. Like, who are you to talk? Like, they can go fuck themselves. And I don't think.
No, I think there is a legit concern. It's not there is, and it's the pay to win aspect, because a lot of these games have the premise that if you just play enough and you grind enough, like a peasant in the fields, you too can become of the elite tier. When Joe Blow can drop $100 here and there and suddenly just shoot up to the top of the rankings. And this game had that problem. Puzzle and Dragons actually had a really good core mechanic where talented players could do really well. This game did not. This game had hard walls in it that if you when I stop back and look at it, where you had to throw money at it or you would be consigned to the peasant basement. You never crack the top 20%. You'd always be below.
And I guess the issue is what is your actual goal? Is your actual goal to be at that top of that scoreboard, or is your goal to be, I just want to experience the metagame and let it sink in? And those are different things.
They are, you're right. But what happened was I transitioned from just enjoying as a time waster, right, and enjoying the metagame to I got just enough following some Reddit formulas where I wanted more quicker. Right? And that's where they got me.
is where they get you. Yeah.
Yep, and that's exactly what happened. The game was designed for that. And I fell for it. It's not like I still think Puzzle and Dragons and Monster that formula. They were a little too well designed, I'll be honest. Their creators were a little too thoughtful and a little too much in the core mechanics. This game does not have the strength of the core mechanics. This is Dragon Blaze, if anyone wants to look it up on the in the end it is about getting you to the point that you'll pay money and that you'll be in the top the top 20% generate the reliable revenue for the company. It is a business model first and a moderately designed portable game second. And Grandma got taken to the fucking cleaners. Yeah. So, I mean, I've spent more on motorcycle parts, but which again, I think, how was that any better? I picked up a horsepower. Wow. Whatever, it comes and goes. Everything comes and goes.
Very, very important. That 1 horsepower.
That very 1 horsepower.
Dim pipes and that noise. You gotta get that feel, man.
Oh, you want to know, on the side, taped to the side of my machine right now is the dyno chart for my Triumph Speed Triple, because I'm so proud of where I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just saying my priority. Let's just put this with all substantive. The defense is Doug's priorities are all out of whack.
Yeah, but that's not news.
Yeah, but
that's not a new development.
That's true. This is true. Anyway, that's how it.
That's how it went down.
Yeah, that's where you go. That's just where we all wind up. There's people on there just laughing and saying, "Oh, that Doug." But
well, we all wind up being whales to one thing or another.
We all wind up playing Sudoku in the nursing home.
Yeah. Right. If you're a whale to Vanillaware style artwork that looks fancy and stuff, be a whale.
Yeah, And I think I'm going to be able to cover that 700 because I actually have a friend who's a Nigerian prince. He reached out to me recently, so I think I can cover my losses on this one.
Man, you're gonna be able to buy so much Taco Bell with that shit.
So much Yum Brands product.
As long as you're going to Taco Bell and not the Taco Time.
No.
Oh, we go to Taco Time.
It's unacceptable.
Yeah, it really, truly is. If you want to hear Indefensible, like take Seattle's cuisine scene.
Somebody by the way, on the chat had a good good choice for the next one. I will put Robert through this particular Indefensible. Star Citizen.
I won't defend that. Okay. So I'll do it live, right? Okay. So Star Citizen. The reason why Star Citizen is an important thing is because they are taking the time to try to make something as large and as vast in scope that no one has ever done before. Star Citizen would be amazing if it wasn't for the fact that it is being made by people who don't know how to make video games and how to ship stuff. Their entire business model and entire development process is like the biggest, like, what the fuck ever. If you have ever built software and like you're seeing what they do, it's like you probably have an aneurysm looking at their process, because it's like, why are you doing it this way? Just release something and then build on it. Like, don't just keep taking people's money and promising more. Like, it's all going to explode in some horrible fireball supernova, if you will, at some point. So I'm just kind of amazed that people continue to have faith in that company. Their idea is right, but the way they're going about it is like completely wrong.
Yeah, I'm not even sure Chris Roberts was the wrong person. That guy wants to make movies. I mean, I know that's a glib, facile thing people have said, but it becomes just... I've actually read the Derek Smart monologues, that's in all caps, Derek Smart monologues, on the subject. And, you know, as back and forth the internet opinions been on Derek, he's got that one nailed. I mean, he's got that one. I mean, he has nailed it. He's done it. I think he's actually done. This may be a controversial opinion. I think he's done a fantastic job, really shining a light on a lot of just. I know it's whether or not it's a personal vendetta or whatever. I think it's just Derek Smart being Derek Smart. And I think in this case, he actually has this is a good thing in this case.
No, I agree, and I've agreed with most of this. I think everyone wants Star Citizen to be that kind of breakthrough where the classic PC styles of games can be brought into the modern era.
Yeah, it's a singularity of PC gaming,
right? And that we can resurrect all the things that we grew up loving and have them be like super fancy and nice and like.
Yeah.
If you could do that, don't do it the way Chris Roberts and the Star Citizen guys are doing.
I mean, you want to talk about
it's just not the way of just shipping stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he and Chris, that whole Star Citizen proposition is like the ultimate harpoon. I mean, we're talking, you know, like Ahab level stuff here. That this is all the dreams of every single game they played in the 80s and 90s science fiction game. Ultimately, their dream that they wanted to realize was a real Star Trek or Star Wars universe, not, you know, a bunch of cinematic stuff that's stringed together, not even like the X-Wing, a series of missions, but where they could really be engaged in a fully immersive sci-fi universe that had dogfights, you know, where they could become a character and a person, just live out their life. And that's the dream they sold, was a alternate science fiction existence that wasn't encumbered by all the trappings that define conventional MMOs. You know, it wasn't limited by a business model, as you suggest, right? But was instead just the vastness of human imagination. You know, and they were planning to build that off with the Crytek engine. I mean, it just doesn't add up.
I think the engine is the least of things.
Yeah, a game that was designed literally for small focus and, you know, battles. Again, I like the Crisis games, but yeah, it did. Yeah, and it was just one of those things where a man had a stupid dream. That big stupid dream was shared by a lot of folks. The man with the big stupid dream had a big stupid lack of a business plan. And you know, and Hollywood aspirations and a whole lot of shady connections. and it sounds like he's a little ethically flexible, although again, allegedly and presupposedly. And I mean, it doesn't take a lot to smell disaster if you have dark smart senses. And here we are, right? It's a confabulation that.
And you got a company trapped between the things that they promised their investors and the people who've given the money and the things that they actually can ship.
Yeah, Wall Street and Star Trek are just not a combination that works well together.
Wall Street and capitalism. It's very sad.
No, Star Trek and Wall Street.
No.
Wall Street is capitalism. Star Trek is like socialism.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, who would have thought those two don't work well together? One big happy community financed by Wall Street. Yeah, if that's not an experiment to bilk people out of their money, I don't know what is. And we're showing exactly how the egalitarian nature of this community is emerging as it's like just rife with backstabbing, leaks, backbiting. Yeah, all in all, it's not a bad retrospective on the human condition circa 2017. A credible defense, Robert, but unfortunately a sad reality.
Yeah, you just can't defend someone, over $100 million and literally doesn't have a plan on what to do to make people happy.
Yeah, it's really it just shows how it's dangerous being a dreamer. And I mean, there are folks that argue that this was a clear exploitation by Chris Roberts, given his crappy Wing Commander movie and all the other stuff he's done. I honestly think he is like a legit dreamer, and I don't say that in a positive or negative way. I am thinking he is a guy who very much has fantasy, has had access to capital, which is the privilege of some folks, and he's gotten that, and he was able to secure financing based on pretty shady credentials, and didn't know what to do with it. Like you said, it's different. Even if he had a business plan, there was no, as I understand it, based on the Derek Smart monologues, as it were, there's no engineering plan whatsoever.
Right. So that's my thing. Like, it's okay to like not be someone who can like finish things through, but like recognize that you're not that person and get someone who can. And
if you look at Eve
let them run it.
Yep. Well, I think we lack too is like Eve had it, and what's the other open sci-fi game that big space world thing? Can't think of it. It's based on a bunch of pretty popular games. Anyway, I don't remember, but the reason they said it is they had a dream, but they also had a core technological implementation that they'd worked out that they hoped would enable that dream. Now that's kind of where, for a lot of the Star Citizen backers, the people that are big fans of that, where those games fail is because that core technology still kind of shines through in a lot of ways. It's the same thing with No Man's Space or whatever that was. In the end, the technology that enabled it still dominated it and took away the dream of having the seamless sci-fi universe. The random, all the random generation of things crops up. The repeating patterns. With Eve, it was a lot of the cumbersome classic MMO mechanics. All that sort of took away, from the illusion that they were in Star Trek. And what Star Citizen promised was dream first, technology second.
Right, and
that just can't work.
And when the promise of your dream is scale and technology is second, like, okay, yeah.
You immediately go license the Crytek engine. There's no way this was. We can all say that in the benefit of hindsight, right? Who hasn't? So far, I've been pretty good in my Kickstarter backing, as I've only backed things that have, like Grim Dawn, that I knew were a sure thing. I backed, Pillars of Eternity, which I thought was crap. The Torment game was pretty good, but what
was really good? Tyranny.
Tyranny was really good. We did talk about that in another podcast. That's a game.
We do need to talk about Tyranny.
Props. It has like the best world building and universe I've played. It's one of those. It's like I would actually read a novel set in that universe. I knew it would appeal to you, Robert, because it's all about the imposition of order on the infidels, and it's not a moral choice. It just is. It's like, I really enjoyed that one. I thought I liked the world building and lore for once in a game in that. I liked just the whole novel that you're an agent of a higher power, and it's really, about the intimacy of a mission serving that. It was all a very interesting just change of perspective. You're not the lone farm boy out to kill the Dark Lord. And the Dark Lord isn't even a Dark Lord in this. It's more about your enemies are essentially bureaucrats.
Right.
I mean, they're crazy bureaucrats.
Sometimes it's nice not to make the decisions, but just be the person who's actually
execute. Yeah.
Yeah. Being the executor is often much more interesting than making the decisions.
Yep. And I like that about that too. I wasn't there. There was a path where you can kind of rebel and take over, but I was more interested in defeating my political rival than I was.
Yeah. Sometimes being a party to choice and consequence instead of the main actor to choice and consequence is actually is a much better experience.
Oh, I think
I'm hoping to see more of that in the CRPG scene.
I think what's great about that entire premise is you want to talk about moral choicing. That actually provides the proper framing for moral choice. If it's open, your only goal is to defeat the Dark Lord, right? What's your moral choice? Defeat the Dark Lord or betray everybody. But when you're literally, the terms of your employment dictate that you follow the orders, really the choice becomes moral. How do you follow those orders, right? What are the logical outcomes of them, right? In day-to-day work, everybody has to make moral decisions, right? Do you do the thing that leads to improvement process? Do you lead to the thing that's a better outcome for your people? Do you choose some bastard version that satisfies no one between the two, or do you find some unique novel way to handle it, right? Do you rely on luck and opportunity? That is the locus in which real moral decisions are made, not in do I save the village or do I kill them all, right? Because you're not doing anything in a service of a thing. There's nothing framing your moral decisions. Right, it's just you wandering the wasteland. Got to go do a thing. And I think that was where Torment started to get. The original Torment got a little more into that, was because at least it had the notion of strong a purpose you could not deviate from, and we're not allowed to deviate from. So you had to make moral decisions.
Yeah, the liberation of players from having to control the entire agency of the game, and instead can focus on the nuances that even in our day-to-day lives are more interesting. Anyway,
so when you have agents, you have morality. When you have
let's do a whole segment at some point in the future just about Tyranny, because it's just an amazing game. All right.
Yep. Super happy with it. All right. That's all we got on the agenda. Any final words? I've been yakking a lot, so.
Games.
I want to give a shout out to everyone who over the years has dropped hey, can you guys cast again? Or I really love these podcasts. Thanks.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. Honestly, we make this and we just have no expectations that people are going to care. We just do it because it's fun, and we really appreciate the fact that you, even with us not doing this, that you remembered us and wanted us to cast again, or even thought about us. That's kind of cool.
No, absolutely. That's the reason I got all ginned up to do this. It's you know what? People do care. That's really nice. Maybe I'll go on and humiliate myself. In return, that's my way of thanking you, is giving folks on some forums ammunition to torture me for the next 2 years until we podcast again. No, we'll probably do a few more of these. I enjoy them.
Well, yeah, we have a Twitch channel, so we might do some
that's right.
Budget. That's putting it kindly. We might do some budget game streaming, and we certainly won't spend $750.
Yeah, I want to put this out there for people to discuss this. I propose the idea. Me and Kevin were talking about this prior. Was what we called nominally backseat gaming, where one of us has to play a really crappy budget game, and the other three of us help him play. So
I'm calling it now. Let's do a charity for a period, and let's just play some great Sonic the Hedgehog Dreamcast games.
I don't know.
No.
I wanted to inflict a visual novel. I'm going to go out there and find the anti-Robert of games. You want to talk about agency in games? Who you gonna waifu?
That's your only decision.
Oh, all right. Yeah. So I think that's it for me this evening. The Coors Banquet is wended its way through my GI tract, and what were once belches will become classy.
Yeah, I did drink a liter of coffee today, so I'm a little spicy too.
Yeah.
Spicy. Spicy Robert.
I drank a lot last night, but not today. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, I would like to point out to you, Arian, that at no point did I sexually harass you in the duration of this podcast.
No, you're very well behaved. The pre-show and the post-show I can't speak for, but well done. So.
We all mature.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go spend another fucking hell.
All
Close it
right.
out. Shut it down.
All right.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night.
See y'all later.
The see you later shitlords graphic is delightful.
What?
Hold on, let me
What
stop.
was this?
Let me stop streaming. Go look at the stream on YouTube.
Okay. How do I YouTubed?
It's just some idiot on a Game Boy Advance writing it off in the sun yet.
I found it.
That guy looks like E-Toilet. It's E-Toilet. I think that is E-Toilet. I think that's actually him. Or Sporks.